Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to do a deep dive into, well, prayer,
Prayer.
but like how to manifest your desires, kind of.
Okay.
Our source material is this blog post by a shaman
Interesting.
named John Rasmussen.
Okay.
And, well, it claims most of us have been praying ineffectively our whole lives. So I'm super curious to see, like, what we can learn from this.
Yeah, shamanism, for people who maybe aren't familiar,
Yeah.
it's a practice of connecting with these like spiritual energies
Right.
for healing, for guidance.
Mm-hmm.
Shamans believe that everything's interconnected, right? And we can actually tap into this web of energy to manifest the things that we want.
Okay. So it's like we're all sending out these signals,
Yeah,
but we're not really aware of, like, what we're sending out.
right. Exactly.
So Rasmussen says it's like we're all just like banging on a guitar
Mm.
instead of like learning the chords.
Okay.
And he even compares it to like acting.
Oh, wow.
Like we have to convince the universe that we already have what we want.
That's fascinating.
What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, lots of spiritual traditions, not just shamanism,
Yeah.
emphasize aligning your energy with whatever it is that you want to create, right?
Right.
It's really about shifting your internal state to match that desired outcome.
So it's like you got to embody it.
You got it, yeah.
Okay, so let's get into Rasmussen's like 7 keys to manifesting that he lays out.
Okay.
The first key is to focus on the experience that you want, but not necessarily the specific form that it takes.
Yeah, like instead of fixating on a very specific thing or even a person, maybe it's about
Yeah.
zeroing in on that feeling that you're looking for,
Right.
Because we often limit ourselves by just clinging to one very specific way that we think something's going to come to us, which could block other possibilities.
Okay, so like if you say, I want a relationship that's warm and loving and fun,
Yeah.
but you're only focused on one person who may or may not even be the right person for you, that could be blocking like tons of other opportunities.
It could be.
To have that warm, loving, fun relationship.
Exactly.
Rasmussen even says that your desires should, ideally, benefit others, not just yourself,
Okay.
which he says amplifies like your signal to the universe.
That's interesting.
Why do you think that is?
Well, it could be because selfless intentions, I think, resonate more strongly with like the fabric of the universe. When your desires are really kind of in alignment with the greater good, maybe they have a bit more weight, a bit more momentum.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, now key number 2 is where it gets kind of tricky.
Okay.
You have to feel the desired experience as if it's already happening, like you're already living it.
Right.
And Rasmussen says, we have to basically become actors in our own lives.
We do.
I mean, think about how you feel when something good's about to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Like a vacation,
Yeah.
your birthday,
Yeah.
that feeling of excitement.
Yeah, we all know it.
That's the energy we need to tap into, but
Yeah.
like for the thing we're trying to manifest.
Okay.
Easier said than done, right?
Right.
But Rasmussen, being a shaman,
Uh-huh.
suggests doing things like rituals,
Okay.
ceremonies,
Yeah.
even vision boards.
I love vision boards.
Yeah, to really kind of engage like your subconscious mind.
Right. And your body, too.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right. It's not just mental, it's physical.
Yeah.
And even other mind-body practices could work, like meditation
Okay.
or visualization, things like that.
Right. So it's not just about like thinking positive thoughts.
Yeah.
It's about really embodying
Embodying.
the feeling of what you want.
You got it.
Okay. Which brings us to key number 3.
All right.
Start small.
Yeah.
Keep it easy.
Start simple.
Don't try to like overhaul your entire life on day 1.
No,
Start with something simple.
totally.
Like just finding something unexpected today
Yeah, I love that.
to just build your confidence and trust in the process.
Because it's about those little wins, right?
Yeah.
To prove to yourself that, like, this stuff actually works.
Right. So it's like these little successes,
Yeah.
no matter how small they seem, can really boost your belief in your ability to manifest.
Exactly. They create that positive feedback loop.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Key number 4 addresses. Like this common pitfall
Okay.
of focusing on what you don't want.
Okay.
Rasmussen says that the universe doesn't really understand negation.
It's funny because it's like, when you tell a 2-year-old, don't touch that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What do? They immediately want to touch the thing.
Of course.
Our energy, like, gravitates towards where our attention is.
Yeah.
Even if it's something negative.
So it's not just about saying you want something.
Right.
But really embodying that desire.
Yes.
And shifting your energy away from what you fear or don't want.
Exactly.
And this kind of goes back to the whole, like, benefiting others thing, too.
When
we're so focused on what we lack or what we're afraid of,
yeah.
our energy tends to be, like, self-centered.
Right.
But when our desires, like, actually benefit others, it naturally elevates our vibration.
It does. It shifts it.
Okay, on to key number 5, diversionary prayer.
Okay.
So Rasmussen tells this story about a sailor who was, like, convinced he was going to run into terrible weather.
Oh, geez.
But instead of, like, directly addressing the sailor's anxiety about the weather, Rasmussen used a prayer that was focused on finding the sailor. Like, good work.
Interesting. So he shifted the focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because sometimes letting go of something that you really want, even if it's just temporarily, can actually create the space for it to come into your life.
It's like releasing that pressure valve. Yeah. Just allowing things to kind of unfold naturally.
Have you ever experienced something like that?
Oh, yeah. All the time.
Like you stop obsessing over something.
And then boom, there it is.
It just happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes surrender is the most powerful thing you can do.
It really is, yeah.
And that kind of leads us to key number 6.
Okay.
Which is to stay receptive and allow the mystery to unfold.
I love that it's all about receptivity.
Yeah, it's like you put out your intention, you've done the work.
Yeah.
Now you just have to trust the process. And be open to however the universe delivers.
Yeah, even if it looks a little different than what we pictured.
Right, because Rasmussen uses this, like, analogy of a teacup.
Oh, I love that.
You know, you have to empty your cup to be able to receive something new.
Right. Holding on to those preconceived notions just blocks the flow.
But I think it's like finding that balance between masculine energy, which is like all about directed action, and then the feminine energy, which is all about like receiving and allowing.
Beautiful. Yeah. You need both for this to really work.
And finally, key number 7. Desires naturally evolve. It's okay to change your mind.
That's such a good point because it reflects life, doesn't it?
Yeah. What we might have wanted today might be totally different a year from now, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
It's normal.
It's like that guitar analogy again, right?
It is, yeah.
As you master a skill, you naturally look for new challenges, and our aspirations grow as we grow.
Exactly. It's not about getting to some final destination.
Yeah, right.
It's really about enjoying that journey of self-discovery and growth along the way.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Like going through these 7 keys.
Yeah.
It really highlights how, manifesting is about way more than just techniques.
Yeah.
It's like we have to address those deeper energetic patterns that might be holding us back.
Like sometimes we might even be like unconsciously sabotaging our own efforts.
Right, exactly. And Rasmussen even talks about that a little bit in his post.
Yeah, yeah.
He suggests that, sometimes we have these like hidden blockages that are preventing us from really getting what we want. And that's where a shaman can come in, right?
Exactly. Yeah. He says that a shaman can help us identify and then release those blockages, and a lot of times they stem from past experiences or maybe some limiting beliefs that we've picked up along the way.
So it's like they can see the things that we can't see.
Yeah. Yeah. Like those blind spots that we all have.
He calls it gentle yet powerful work to like clear the path.
Yeah.
For our prayers to be more effectively received by the universe.
Yeah.
What do you think he means by that?
Well, imagine you're trying to solve, like, a problem, right?
Okay.
But you keep hitting a wall.
Yeah.
You're doing everything right.
Right.
But something's just not clicking.
Right.
And then you talk to somebody who has a fresh perspective.
Okay.
Maybe it's a therapist. Maybe it's a mentor. Maybe even a friend.
Yeah.
And they help you see things in a whole new way.
Yeah.
Suddenly, the solution appears.
Okay.
It was there all along.
Yeah.
You just couldn't see it.
So it's like a shaman acts as that guide.
Exactly.
To help us see the hidden obstacles that are preventing us from like aligning with our desires.
Yes. And it's interesting too because he keeps using that guitar analogy.
Right.
It's like they're tuning our instrument. They're removing the dissonance so we can create beautiful music.
So instead of like banging on the guitar, we're actually playing a beautiful melody.
Exactly.
Rasmussen even suggests that like the level of complexity that we achieve in manifesting is a reflection of our own spiritual growth.
I love that.
It's like going from simple melodies to like grand symphonies.
Beautiful. Yeah, and it's not just about getting what we want, right? It's about expanding our capacity to really experience life on a deeper level.
And it's not about like being perfect.
No.
Because Rasmussen says there's no judge. It's our sandbox to play in.
Yeah, I love that.
It's like it really takes the pressure off.
It does.
And encourages us to just approach this process with playfulness and curiosity.
Yes.
Instead of having like these rigid expectations.
Exactly.
He even says to like tap into the source of all creation, which he says is the heart.
Okay.
Where laughter originates.
Laughter, yeah.
And he suggests like trying to laugh without moving your lips.
Oh, wow. Have you ever tried that?
I've tried it. It's hard.
It's hard.
But you can like feel that energy.
It's powerful, though.
It is.
When you can tap into that.
Yeah.
That inner joy, that lightness.
So as we're wrapping up this like exploration of Rasmussen's insights, what are some of the key takeaways for you?
Well, I think the interplay of masculine and feminine energy, like you were talking about earlier, having that directed intention, but also that receptive, allowing, finding that balance, I think is really crucial.
Yeah. And recognizing that we might have like some deeper blockages that we're not even aware of.
Right.
That need to be addressed.
Yes.
And maybe seeking guidance from like a shaman.
Yeah. Or another type of healer, maybe.
Could be really transformative.
It could be. Yeah. Because ultimately, I think this is all about self-discovery, right?
Yeah.
It's about the journey that unfolds as we learn to, master prayer
and
align our energy with what we truly desire.
But, shamanism isn't the only path.
It's not.
To understanding these concepts. So what if we look at this from other perspectives?
Exactly. It's like we've been using this magnifying glass to examine one specific area, and now we're going to zoom out, see the whole picture.
Yeah, because there's not like one right way.
There's not.
To approach manifesting.
Right.
What works for one person might not work for another.
Totally. And so in the next part, we can explore some alternative viewpoints, maybe look at what science has to say about all of this, and some philosophical insights as well.
All right. Sounds good. Welcome back. So we've been exploring shaman John Rasmussen's like 7 keys to manifesting.
Right.
But now I kind of want to like zoom out a little.
Yeah.
Look at the bigger picture.
I like that.
Because shamanism is really just one lens.
It is.
Through which to view this whole idea of like prayer and intention.
It's like we've been using this really powerful magnifying glass to look at one specific area.
Right.
But now we're going to step back.
Right. See the whole landscape.
Exactly.
So there isn't like one right way to approach manifesting, right?
Yeah, definitely not.
What resonates with one person might not work for another.
Exactly.
So let's kind of shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
And see what like science has to say about power of thought.
I love this.
So it might seem like a big leap, right?
Yeah.
Going from shamanism to science.
Right.
But there are some interesting connections. Like in quantum physics.
Yes.
There's this famous experiment called the double slit experiment.
It's a classic.
Remind me what that is again.
Okay, so basically it shows that like simply observing a particle can actually influence its behavior.
So like just by looking at something, we're affecting what it becomes.
It's kind of like that.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it really challenges, that classic Newtonian view of the world where consciousness is totally separate from matter.
Right.
But really, they're intertwined.
Yeah.
Maybe even more than we realize.
Okay, so that's super fascinating. But what does that have to do with like manifesting or prayer?
Well, I mean, if our thoughts and intentions can have an effect on these tiny particles.
Right.
Imagine the potential impact they could have on larger scale events in our lives.
So it's like our thoughts are creating these little energetic ripples, making certain outcomes more likely.
Exactly. And there's research in neuroscience that actually supports this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The placebo effect?
Oh, yeah.
It's like people's beliefs and expectations, even if they're based on a sugar pill, can create real measurable physiological changes in their bodies.
Yeah, the mind-body connection is so powerful.
It really is. And it goes beyond just physical health.
Okay.
I mean, think about how our thoughts and beliefs can affect our relationships, our careers, our finances, really every area of of life.
So in a way, science is kind of validating
Yeah.
what these ancient wisdom traditions have been saying
I think so.
about the power of the mind.
Yeah, it's like this really cool convergence of perspectives
Yeah.
where, we're not just passive recipients of fate.
Right.
We're actually active participants in creating our experiences.
Okay, so now let's shift gears one more time
Okay.
to explore like the philosophical side
Oh, I like this.
of manifesting.
Okay.
So, philosophy often deals with these like big questions,
Yeah.
like free will versus determinism.
Right. Like, how much control do we actually have over our lives?
Right. It's a debate that's been going on forever.
Right?
So where does manifesting fit in?
Well, I think it offers like a middle ground
Okay.
because it acknowledges that we don't control everything, obviously,
Yeah.
but we do have a responsibility
Okay.
to be conscious of our thoughts and our actions.
So we're like co-creating with the universe,
Yes.
not just along for the ride.
Exactly. And I think another interesting philosophical angle
Yeah.
is, the question of meaning and purpose.
Okay.
Like, if we have this power to shape our reality,
Yeah.
what are we shaping it for?
That's a big question.
It is, but, there are lots of different viewpoints on this.
Like what?
Well, some philosophers say the purpose of life is, happiness, fulfillment, maybe even just like experiencing pleasure.
Okay.
But others would say it's about like contributing to something larger than ourselves, maybe evolving consciousness.
So how does that tie back to like the actual practice of manifesting?
Well, I think it highlights the importance of our intentions, right?
Right.
Like, are we manifesting from a place of fear or scarcity?
Right.
Or are we coming from a place of love, compassion, a desire to serve?
That's a good point.
Because ultimately, our motivations shape what we create.
So it's not just about getting what we want,
No.
but becoming the kind of people
Yeah.
who are like worthy of those blessings.
Exactly. And maybe that's the most profound lesson here. It's an invitation to really align our desires with our values.
Yeah.
To live a life of purpose.
That's powerful.
It is.
This has been such a fascinating conversation.
It has.
From shamanism to science to philosophy.
Yeah.
It's amazing how all these different perspectives
I know.
point to the power of our thoughts
Yeah.
and intentions
They really do.
to actually shape our reality.
Yeah. We're not just passive observers.
No.
We are active participants in creating our lives.
So to all of you listening,
Yeah.
keep exploring,
Yes.
keep experimenting,
Keep learning.
and keep believing in the power of your own consciousness
I love it.
to shape your reality.
Beautiful.
Until next time,
Yeah.
happy manifesting.
Happy manifesting.